Most of us never think twice about eggs. They sit in cartons. They crack into frying pans. They disappear into cakes and pancakes without much attention. But if you really stop and think about it, eggs are kind of unbelievable. A chicken can produce one almost every single day, sometimes for months at a time, without ever being pregnant. That raises a strange question. How does a chicken's body pull off something so frequent, so precise, and so consistent? Unlike most animals, chickens are not giving birth or raising babies every day. Yet their bodies are running what is basically a biological assembly line that rarely shuts down. To understand how that works, we have to go inside the chicken and follow the journey of an egg from a tiny cell to the moment it lands in a nest. Inside a hen is a reproductive system that works very differently from what we see in mammals. A female chick is born with 2 ovaries, but only the left one develops. That single ovary contains thousands of tiny yolks. Each one is an undeveloped egg waiting for its turn. When a hen reaches maturity, hormones tell her body to start releasing these yolks, usually one every 24 to 26 hours. Once released, the yolk enters a long, twisting tube called the oviduct. This is where the egg is built, layer by layer. First, the yolk is surrounded by egg white, also called albumin. Then 2 protective membranes are added. Finally, the shell forms around everything. By the time the egg leaves the hen's body, it looks exactly like the eggs we recognize at the store. And here is something many people get wrong. A rooster is not required for a hen to lay eggs. A rooster is only needed if you want those eggs to be fertilized and capable of becoming chicks. Without a rooster, the egg is simply unfertilized, which is exactly what we eat. In that sense, egg laying is just part of the hen's normal reproductive cycle, similar to ovulation in humans, just far more visible and much more frequent. But the story does not end there. If a hen lays several eggs in the same nest, something can change. Hormones may trigger a behavior called brooding. Instead of continuing to lay, the hen shifts into protection mode. She sits on the eggs, keeps them warm, and gently turns them. During this time, egg laying usually stops because her body is now focused on incubation, not production. It is a reminder that beneath the everyday egg is an ancient biological purpose, reproduction. So why does this happen almost every day? The answer is light. Chickens are extremely sensitive to daylight. When light enters a hen's eyes, it sends signals to the brain that trigger hormone release. Those hormones tell the ovary it is time to release another yolk. Longer days mean more signals, which is why hens naturally lay more in spring and summer and less in winter. On many farms, artificial lighting is used to mimic long summer days, keeping hens laying more consistently throughout the year. The reason it is almost daily and not perfectly daily comes down to timing. Since producing one egg takes a little more than 24 hours, the laying time shifts later each day until eventually the hen skips a day and the cycle resets. Laying eggs this often is not easy on the body. Each shell is made mostly of calcium. To produce one nearly every day, a hen needs a steady supply of minerals and energy. If her diet is low in calcium, her body may pull it from her own bones. That is why laying hens need calcium-rich feed, and why egg production usually slows as hens get older. Over time, the physical strain adds up. It is also important to remember that chickens were not always such extreme egg producers. Wild ancestors of modern chickens laid small clutches of eggs only a few times a year, just enough to reproduce. Over thousands of years, humans selectively bred hens that laid more eggs more often. Generation after generation, this changed their biology. Today's laying hens are the result of centuries of human influence, shaped to be incredibly efficient egg producers. In other words, the simple egg is not just a product of nature. It is also a product of history. Even so, hens do not lay eggs forever. As they age, production naturally declines. Molting, when chickens shed and regrow feathers, can pause egg laying because the body redirects energy. Stress, illness, temperature, and diet also affect how often a hen lays. That near-daily egg is actually a peak performance state, not a permanent one. So the next time you crack an egg into a pan, remember what went into it. That egg represents a full day of biological work, guided by light, hormones, nutrition, evolution, and thousands of years of human history. Chickens are not choosing to lay eggs. Their bodies are following a rhythm that has been refined over time. What seems ordinary on your plate is actually the result of one of nature's most efficient and most overlooked routines happening quietly almost every single day. And that is what makes the simple egg not so simple after all.